Do you have a hard time choosing between tier 3 staff and tier 14 from Oryx? Or between the spirit staff or the superior? Well, great, then this video is for you. Hello guys, it's me Gleff back again here with another top 10 video. Today we are comparing the top 10 staffs and talk some about them and why I ranked them for that specific spot. I am actually gone now on a scout camp, so I haven't recorded this today. I recorded this weeks earlier, so there might be some weird pattern in how the videos are released on my channel, but at least we have some content while I'm gone. If you want to join my 4,000 gold giveaway, you can do it down in the description. If it's not in the description, it will be on my channel, so be sure to join that after you've seen this video. Now on to the video. Let's start with the list. We have the honorable mentions. Well, since there are not that many great duty staffs out there, there aren't that many honorable mentions to mention. If I would pick one staff, that would maybe be the Edictum from UDL. By itself, it's not really that great, and almost all other staffs in this list beats it. The only reason why it would be kinda good, it's because the Memento Mori. With the whole Memento Mori set, you get a lot of attack, and it changes the Necromancer as a whole. You could use the staff and the skull to get some extra attack, or maybe the robe too, to get even more attack. So that's the sole reason why this would be at the honorable mentions. Number 10. The Tezcacoati's Tail. This staff, which drops from the first boss in Secluded Thicket, is, I would say, the first armor-piercing staff in the game, and it's not really that great. Compared to the Squaroid Staff, which is the recently added staff that also armor pierces, this does much less damage and has a slower fire rate, and it's just more annoying to use overall, I would say. The only positive thing with this is that it armor pierces, so if you don't have this Squaroid Staff and would like to have some armor piercing weapon, because sometimes that could actually be useful, you should probably go for the Squaroid Staff, but if you don't have that, the Tezcacoati's Tail would work. I would happily see a rework for this staff, since I feel like it doesn't feel a purpose, because it has a much significant lower DPS than a normal tier 13 or tier 14 staff, that it's just a waste of space for a white bag in the Secluded Thicket, which should be actually a rare white bag. Now on to number 9. Number 9, Staff of Vital Unity. This tier 13 staff was a very awaited staff back in the day when Lost Halls got released. It was the next progression of the tiered items and was a really good staff at the time. Now, though, it's been replaced by the tier 14, which got released with Oryx 3 last summer, and has just seen, I would say, lower usage since there are better alternatives out there. It's still a good basic staff, and you can get it pretty often from the mini bosses of Oryx and in Lost Halls, but I feel like this would be a nice addition to drop from, let's say, the Fungal and Crystal Cavern, since the armors drop from there. It's not that great anymore, and I say it deserves a number 9 spot, since it is a very good basic staff. This could work on any backup, and I can't say much more than that. It's a nice staff, and I would like to see this tradable, since it's not the new top variant. So maybe in the future we could trade this. That would be pretty cool, since I have a lot of them stocked up, and that would drive the prices down for the tier 12 weapons, but I feel like the market could use some refreshing items into it. Number 8, the Oppressor's Staff. This agent of Oryx staff actually outdamages the tier 13 staff and has the longest range in the game on 10 tiles. The only drawback on this staff is that it shoots in a wave-like pattern like the Lumiere and only has a 75% rate of fire, which would affect you sometimes. Other than that, this is a pretty rare staff, since you can only get it from the Shard of the Mad God, which drops at specific chest events and are not that common in the usual event chests that we get each month. Other than that, this is an okay staff, and with the Agent of Oryx abilities and armor and rings, this could be more powerful. But it outdamages the tier 13, which is already a decent staff, so I would say that the Oppressor staff is a okay go-to staff to use. Number 7, the Squaroid Staff. This recently added staff that came with a cubioidic necromancer set is a pretty interesting staff. It outdamages the Tezcacoati's tail, which is the armor piercing staff that we went on number 10 in this video, and it's a pretty decent staff actually. The shot pattern is very satisfying, I would say, for myself, and I mean, I can't base this top 10 video barely on DPS, since I don't usually like to compare that many items with DPS, but I also like this staff for being very satisfying to shoot. It's the best armor piercing staff in the game, so if you have a really high defense target, or you have an armored target that is like, then the Squaroid Staff would be the staff to use over the Tezcacoati's tail. So I put this over the tier 13 and Oppressor staff, since I actually favor, or I like the shot pattern, since it's very satisfying. It stops for a while and then goes forward. The range is pretty meh, but I would say that this staff is a decent staff actually. Number 6, Tideturner Trident. The Tideturner Trident is a very interesting staff. I like it because it's like the pixie of staffs, and it's not like the staff of Unholy Sacrifice, which is just a pain to use. The sprite itself looks really nice, and I like the shot pattern that the staff have. The range of this is 7.5 tiles, which is a bit lower than usual, but the actual true range is 2.84 tiles, which is very low for a staff class. So I would use this in a lot of safer dungeons like UDL or Abysses, since it's a very fun staff to use. It's like the pixie of staffs. Other than that, this staff actually changes the shot pattern of the superior, which could be useful sometimes. So if you have, there is actually 2 shot patterns of the superior, so you could shoot with the superior once and see what shot pattern you have, and if you would like to have the other one, you can actually shoot with the trident and then swap to the superior, and you would have another shot pattern. So this is a good swap out to have if you are using the superior a lot, if you want to have the best shot pattern. So that's why this comes at number 6. Staff of Extreme Prejudice. I'm not going even to try to pronounce it. It's the EP, of course. The EP staff was, before the Oryx 3 launch, a very mess staff. It was always as a swap out on your character, but when did you actually use it? Did you try to do crack a crystal once, but then died of the bullets that came? I wouldn't use this staff in a normal case, but with the Oryx 3 release, this staff has become something else. After some time, people realized that in the phases between phases of Oryx 3, you could actually EP Oryx himself. This meant that you could do massive amount of damage when you would not take a single point of damage, which is the whole point of the EP. You have to literally stand on the enemy to do the maximum damage. If you can't do that, it's worthless. The EP has the most DPS in the game, which is actually insane for such an old item like the EP with the Sprite World White Bag back in the day, and it's actually used today in a lot of the speedruns. If you could see that in my speedrun videos, a lot of the wizards EP when they have the chance, since the damage the EP puts out if you stand in something is so much inferior to the tier 14 staff or the other staff that you would use, probably superior. So the EP has the number 5 spot only because of Oryx 3. If Oryx 3 wouldn't be here today, I don't think I actually would put this on the list. Then it would have no use probably. Number 4, the staff. The staff comes from the High-Tech Terror, and it's one of the newly released UT staffs in the game that can actually compete with the other white bags. So the staff has the burst pattern, which came with the release of the High-Tech Terror, and it has a burst count of 5. That means that they are shooting out 5 shots, and it then has a pause. If you would have Berserk on and more dexterity, this would be decreased to a minimum of 1 second from 1.8 seconds. So if you would use this staff, a crown or armor like the anointed robe would be preferable used with this staff, since the more dexterity you have, the less burst delay you have. which is the main problem of this staff. Other than that, this is just a nice staff actually. I haven't tried it myself in production. I've tried it on testing, but I really like it there. So I think this is a nice contender for, let's say, the top 3 staffs, since it is actually usable and has a good DPS if you hit all the burst count. But with this staff you would probably need to practice a little bit, since the burst is sometimes harder to hit specific enemies that are moving a lot. Number 3. This is probably the weirdest staff we have in the game with the EP. This staff, as you probably all would know, is that it shoots backwards. So you have to aim in the wrong direction for the bullets to go in front of your character, which is the main problem of this staff. The staff itself deals massive amount of damage, not as much as the EP, but it's easier to hit all the bullets, at least some of them, which outdamages the EP if you wouldn't stand in something. You would preferably use the Staff of Unholy Sacrifice on something like the Necromancer or the Mystic, since you have to aim backwards, and that makes the ability you use a little less impactful. So you would preferably use this staff with an ability that boosts your in damaging, like the Conflict, which is probably the best way to use this staff. If you use this on a wizard, you can't use the spell, and that just terminates the function of the wizard, if you could say so. So this staff takes some time to master, and you have to be pretty close for most of the bullets to hit, which is also another problem. So I would use this to clear dungeons like the UDL, maybe Godlands, maybe clear Shatters, but I wouldn't use it on boss fights, since if you have a moving boss and you want to hit your abilities, either if it's Mystic, Necromancer or Wizard, you would preferably want to aim in front of you, not backwards. Number 2, Staff of the Fundamental Core. This is the new tiered staff. It's the tier 14 staff that came with the Oryx 3 release, and I would say that this is probably one of the most powerful staffs in the game. It's a very basic staff, it doesn't do anything, it's a normal tiered staff. So even if other staffs, like the Staff of Unholy Sacrifice, Extreme Prejudice, or EP, or the staff maybe outdamages it, it's more user-friendly to use. And that's one of the main reasons why it's on the number 2 spot. And you could argue you would sometimes want to use this over the Superior, but I feel like the Superior is far superior, actually. Haha, how do you get it? Superior to the tier 14 staff. Other than that, this is probably the staff I would recommend you using on a staff character, since it's the most user-friendly and best user-friendly staff out there. Number 1. Well, you guessed it, I think. It's the Superior. The Superior shoots a lot of bullets and does the most damage on lower defense enemies. So you would preferably want to use this on armor broken stuff, armor broken bosses, sometimes in Oryx 3. Like Oryx 3 gets armor broken, that is probably the perfect time to use this stuff, since it does massive amount of damage if the enemy are armor broken. Since you could look here at the DPS graph compared to the tier 14, that's a huge difference on damage on 0 defense. I know I compared the Tideturner Trident to be this pixie for staffs, but I think you could say that the Superior takes the prize for being the pixie of the staffs. Massive amount of damage at 0 defense with a lot of bullets, easy to hit. It's a very nice staff to run around with in Godlands and other dungeons to clear, but when it comes to armored enemies and high defense enemies, you would probably want to switch out for like a tier 14 staff or the staff, or even the Squaroid Staff, which armor pierces. Other than that, this is a very cool staff, and it's the only 8% staff, so that's also a reason why you would want to use this. It's for the extra fame you get with the fame % bonus. But I think that sums up the video for today. I'm sorry if this video seems a little bit stressed. I've been very stressed to make a lot of videos now before I will go away on vacation at a scout camp and then go to another town to meet some friends, but I think you would be happy with a video instead of no video at all. But that's everything for today. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and join my Discord if you want to stay updated when I come back to Realm for good, I would say. Month of Mad God is planned at August, so look forward to August. I will be back in August to make videos about Month of Mad God, so stay hyped about that. I'll see you guys in the next one, and be sure to see my next video out soon, I think. Bye bye.